The rain hammered the stadium lights like it was trying to drown out the roar of the crowd. But nothing could wash away the blood on my knuckles from the hit I'd just taken. I staggered off the field, helmet dangling from my hand. My eyes locked on Cameron as he ripped off his shoulder pads right there on the sidelines. His face twisted in a way I'd never seen, like he was unraveling from the inside. "I'm done," he spat, voice cracking over the thunder. And in that split second, the whole world tilted, because if Cameron walked away from the Lincoln Hawks, he wasn't just quitting the team, he was quitting us, quitting me. We'd been inseparable since freshman year at Lincoln High in the sticky sprawl of suburban Ohio. Two kids from broken homes who found our rhythm in the brutal poetry of Friday Night Lights. I was Elias, the quarterback with the cannon arm and the chip on my shoulder the size of Lake Erie. He was Cameron, the wide receiver who could snatch a pass out of the gods' hands, all lean muscle and quiet fire. Coach Harlan called us the thunder and lightning of the Hawks, the duo that had dragged our ragtag squad from perennial losers to state semi-final contenders. But lately, the hits weren't just on the field. Practice had turned into a grind. Whispers in the locker room about scouts sniffing around for college offers, and the weight of it all pressing down like the gray Midwest sky. Cameron started pulling away. Late to drills, eyes distant during film sessions, that easy grin replaced by something haunted. I chalked it up to senior slump, the fear of what came after the whistle blew for the last time. God, I was wrong. It was 2 weeks before playoffs. The air thick with that October chill that bites through your pads. When he dropped the bomb in the huddle after a scrimmage that left us all bruised and cursing. "I'm out," Cameron said, not even looking at me. His voice flat as the AstroTurf we'd just torn up. The guys froze. Jax, our linebacker with the neck tats and the temper. Rico, the kicker who joked about everything to hide how scared he was. Even quiet Tommy from the line, who never said much but hit like a freight train. Coach's face went the color of overcooked turkey. His clipboard clattering to the ground. "The hell you mean, out? We've got semis, kid. You bail now, you tank us all." But Cameron just shrugged, grabbing his bag like it was no big deal, like he hadn't been the spark that lit our fire. Couldn't let it slide. Not him. Not after everything. That night, I cornered him in the parking lot behind the Dairy Queen. The neon sign buzzing like a swarm of angry bees, casting pink glows on the puddles from the afternoon drizzle. Our trucks were side by side, beat-up Fords we'd rebuilt together in his dad's garage during those endless summers. Engines purring low as we idled there, windows down, the smell of fries and regret hanging heavy. "Talk to me, Cam," I said, my voice rough from yelling plays all day. "This ain't you. Quitting? For what? Some bullshit job at the mill like your old man." He stared out at the empty road, fingers drumming the wheel, that silver ring on his thumb, the one I'd given him for his birthday, engraved with Brothers in the Blitz, catching the light. "It's not about the team, Eli," he finally muttered. And there it was, that crack in his armor, the one I'd been waiting for. But what came next hit harder than any blindside sack. "It's about me. About us. I can't keep pretending." My gut twisted. Pretending? We'd shared everything. Late-night drives blasting Springsteen, sneaking beers by the quarry, patching each other's wounds after games that left us limping. He was my anchor, the one guy who got why I pushed so hard, why I carried the ghosts of my mom's overdose and my dad's endless shifts at the auto plant like extra weight in my cleats. "What the hell does that mean?" I pressed, leaning out my window, close enough to see the stubble on his jaw, the way his Adam's apple bobbed like he was swallowing glass. He turned then, eyes locking on mine, and in that humid bubble of our trucks, the world narrowed to just us. "I'm gay, Elias. Have been since we were kids throwing spirals in your backyard. And it's you. It's always been you." The words landed like a thunderclap, stealing my breath, my brain scrambling to catch up. Gay? Cameron? My Cameron, with his easy laugh and the way he'd sling an arm around my shoulders after a win, calling me champ in that teasing drawl. I'd felt it too, those moments that lingered too long. The brush of his hand steadying me on a shaky route, the heat of his body next to mine in the back of the truck during stakeouts for rival scouts. But I'd shoved it down, buried it under layers of denial because in our town, where pickup games turned into bar fights and fag was the quickest slur in the playbook, admitting that, it was suicide. For him. For us. "Why now?" I whispered, my voice barely cutting through the engine hum. Why drop this and run? His laugh was bitter, hollow, like wind through dead leaves. Because I heard you, Eli. Last week, in the locker room. Jax was razzing Rico about that pride sticker on his truck. And you laughed. Said it was all California bullshit. That real men don't wave flags, they just play ball. The memory slammed into me. Yeah, I'd said it, the words tumbling out easy to fit in, to keep the pack laughing. Because that's what you do when you're the golden boy QB, the one everyone looks to. But hearing it thrown back, it burned. Betrayal, sharp and silver, twisting in my chest. Not just his secret, but mine. The one I'd hidden even from myself. I didn't mean... I started. But he cut me off, eyes flashing with that fire I'd only seen on the field. You did. And it gutted me. Every time you high-five me like I'm just your bro. Every time we crash at your place and I lie there wanting to pull you close but knowing you'd shove me away. I can't do it anymore. Quitting the team. It's me quitting the lie. He revved his engine then, tires spitting gravel as he peeled out, leaving me in a cloud of exhaust and what-ifs, my hands shaking on the wheel like I just fumbled the game winner. The next days blurred into a nightmare of drills without our rhythm. Passes sailing wide because I couldn't sync without him ghosting my flank. The team fractured. Jax mouthing off about weak links. Rico sketching rainbows in his playbook margins like some quiet rebellion. Coach drilling us harder. His pep talks laced with desperation. I replayed that parking lot confession 1,000 times. The way Cameron's voice had trembled not with fear, but with a raw, aching honesty that made my denial feel like cowardice. By Friday, Semi's eve against the Toledo Titans, the pressure cooker boiled over. We were in the locker room, the stink of Benghazi and sweat thick as fog, when I snapped. We need him back, I said, slamming my locker so hard the mirror rattled. The guys turned, faces a mix of pity and piss-off. Cam's the heart of this. Without him, we're just meat for the grinder. Jax snorted, lacing his cleats. Heart? Guy bails like a pussy. What? He's scared of a little contact. Rico shot him a look, but it was Tommy who spoke up, voice gravelly from years of not talking. Heard he told Eli something. Something big. The room went still, eyes on me like spotlights. Betrayal number 2. The whispers had spread, twisted into rumors of drugs or a girl on the side. Anything but the truth. My throat tightened. This was it, the climax we'd all been barreling toward. Not on the field, but here, in the guts of who we were. I stood there, heart pounding like pre-snap cadence, and let it rip. He's gay. And he's in love with me. The words hung, heavy as the championship banner overhead, and for a beat, you could have heard a jockstrap drop. Jax's face crumpled from sneer to shock. Rico's eyes widened like he'd seen a ghost. And Coach just sank onto the bench, rubbing his temples like an old war vet. No punches thrown, no slurs hurled. Just silence, thick and probing, until Jax muttered, "Shit, man, that's heavy." Rico nodded, sliding over a water bottle like an olive branch. Explains why he's been a zombie. Hiding that crap? In this town. I'd run too. We piled into cars that night, a convoy to Cameron's place. A sagging rancher on the edge of town, porch light flickering like a beacon. Rain slicked the streets, wipers slapping rhythm as I led the charge, pulse racing with a mix of terror and hope. He answered the door in sweats, hair tousled, eyes red-rimmed like he'd been staring down demons. "What the?" he started, but I pushed past, the team spilling in behind. A soggy herd of jocks filling his cramped living room. Coach clapped a hand on his shoulder, gruff as ever. "Son, you think you can drop a bomb like that and ghost? We're family. Hawks don't quit on family." Cameron looked at me then, searching, and I saw it. The betrayal still simmering, but softening under the weight of all those eyes, not judging, just there. "I thought you'd hate me," he admitted, voice small in the crowded space. Jax, of all people, stepped up. "Hate you? Bro, we've been tackling each other since Pee-wee. One more layer, whatever. Just don't make us play without our burner." Laughter rippled, tentative but real, cutting the tension like a knife through fog. I pulled him aside later, out on the porch where the rain drummed a steady beat on the tin roof. The team inside demolishing his mom's leftover lasagna like nothing had shattered. "I'm sorry," I said, The words spilling out hot and honest. For laughing it off. For not seeing it sooner. Because yeah, Cam, I feel it too. Have for years. Scared the hell out of me. But losing you? That's scarier. His breath hitched, and he leaned in, forehead to mine. Not a kiss but a promise. The kind that doesn't need words. Then don't lose me, Eli. Fight for this. For us. We suited up the next night under those stadium lights. The crowd a sea of green and gold, chanting Hawks, Hawks, like a heartbeat. Cameron was back on the line, jersey crisp, eyes locked on mine as we broke the huddle. The Titans came hard, blitzing like wolves, but we moved like we'd never parted. My throws threading needles, his routes slicing air, a dance we'd perfected in secret. Fourth quarter, down by 6, 2 minutes left. I dropped back, felt the rush closing in, and lofted it high, a prayer in pigskin. He leaped, body twisting against the sky, and hauled it in, spiking it in the end zone as the clock bled out. Touchdown. Victory. The pylon was chaos, brothers in arms. No lines drawn between straight or otherwise, just sweat and triumph. In the quiet after, back in that same locker room, steam curling like ghosts, we lingered. The team filed out, slaps on backs and vows for next year. But Cameron and I stayed, sitting on the bench, shoulders brushing. No grand gestures, just the unspoken vow to keep fighting on the field and off. Ohio winters are long and unforgiving, but spring comes eventual, thawing the ground for new growth. We'd face the scouts, the small town stares, the what comes nexts. Maybe college together, maybe not, but we'd face it as us, no more pretending. In a world that loves to break its boys, we'd chosen to build something real. And damn if that didn't feel like winning the Super Bowl of the soul.